Good afternoon. It's really excellent to be here back in Hong Kong for our first Circle Forum Hong Kong. We've got a lot to talk about, and just the energy here is always so palpable for me. I've loved building here, and I feel like Hong Kong is at a turning point right now in its development in this industry, and so we're just so thrilled to be investing here to continue to build the crypto economy and the broader changes in the financial system. So some of the things I'll talk about you already know, and then hopefully things I'll talk about that you don't know. Hong Kong has the fastest rate of digital adoption in all of Eastern Asia, which is just tremendous. This is a city and a location that drives digital innovation. It always has, and it's going to be doing that in this digital currency world as well. Stablecoins are already a huge percentage. The largest single category of digital asset that is held and received by people in Hong Kong are stablecoins. So stablecoins are the killer app of crypto in Hong Kong today already. Let's talk about USDC specifically. Since we launched USDC just over 6 years ago, we've already done over $17 trillion of on-chain transactions. That doesn't include all the transactions on exchanges and other places. This is just on-chain transactions. This number actually doesn't include things like Solana, which has been on fire in terms of USDC transactions as well. And so the total number is actually much higher. But this is an up and to the right chart that we like to see, and we've really seen in the last year stablecoin adoption really starting to take hold in a far, far broader range of applications. So we've been scaling USDC in 2024. We're now on 16 different blockchain networks, making it one of the most widely available protocols for digital dollars on blockchains in the world. We're working with developers who are innovating in this infrastructure. It's available in hundreds of countries today, around 35 billion in circulation, and very widely used. Last year, we launched something called Cross-Chain Transfer Protocol, CCTP. Applications exist on different blockchain networks. Protocols exist on different blockchain networks. Wallets for users are connected through different blockchain networks. We wanted to solve the problem of safe transport and sending and receiving and moving of digital dollar value, no matter what kind of platform you used, and to do it as safely and efficiently as possible. And so we built CCTP to address this. It has continued to scale, and now, currently, approximately 88% of all USDC that is bridged is done through CCTP, which doesn't lock your assets, doesn't create a kind of honeypot for hackers to attack it. There's no incremental fees other than what you pay for your blockchain transactions. We're doing a lot more with this. We have major innovations in CCTP coming, and we're really aimed at increasing the speed, increasing the safety, and increasing the usability of stablecoins in this entire global ecosystem. One of the most important things that we talk about at Circle is trust and transparency. It's been a core part of who we are and how we've operated since the very beginning. USDC is the most transparent, the most liquid, and safe digital dollar in the world, period. And we put our money where our mouth is here. You can see the balance sheet of USDC. The 35 billion in circulation, the reserves held in cash, approximately 10% or a little less, with global systemically important banks, the custodian banks that are the safest in the world for cash. We work with GSIBs, not offshore shadow banks. The Circle Reserve Fund is a fund set up with BlackRock that is an SEC registered and supervised fund that holds over 90% or around 90% of our reserves. And that Circle Reserve Fund is holding US Treasuries and treasury repo, the safest dollar assets in the world. And we make that available for daily transparency. You can go to the USDXX ticker, and you can see it's a publicly registered structure. You can see every single CUSIP, the serial number of every single bond that we hold, and their liquidity. And so you can verify the Circle USDC reserves. But you can't just take our word for it. We also provide daily, weekly, and monthly transparency into all of the reserve assets, minting, redemptions, all the flows, and it's completely independently verified. Circle is audited by Deloitte & Touche, a Big Four accounting firm, and we have been for many years. There are other stablecoin issuers who say the Big Four won't audit firms in this space. That is a lie. USDC reserves are audited by Big Four. The USDC Circle itself is audited by Big Four, and the USDC reserves are subject to bi-monthly attestations by the same firm as well. Trust, transparency, safety, liquidity are the hallmarks of why people adopt USDC. So when we think about who we are and what we're building, we think about Circle as a platform company building a network, a stablecoin network. And what makes this a platform is the fact that thousands of other companies build on top of it. Developers from every country in the world almost are building on top of it. Financial companies, fintech companies, payments companies, enterprises are building on top of this platform. At the core of that platform are the things that we provide. Our blockchain infrastructure through our stablecoin protocols, the banking infrastructure that we offer all around the world, local banking with quality infrastructure to create and redeem USDC in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in the US, in the EU, in Brazil, in Mexico, and soon in other major financial market centers. Infrastructure we build around that, like CCTP, to make it safe and easy to transport this. Application services like our compliance engine and our Web3 services for building your own Web3 infrastructure applications into your own infrastructure. So all of this is the platform that we make available. And outside of that is this much larger partner ecosystem. Many of you are part of our partner ecosystem. We have a formal alliance program now with huge numbers of companies and growing every single day. And then there's the stablecoin network itself. This is a network that consists of millions of users around the world, thousands of businesses, and every person that's connected to that network adds value to the other people on that network. Every app that is on that network creates utility and value for the other applications on that network, creating a very powerful set of network effects and a flywheel for adoption. So this is what we think about as we think about building and scaling Circle. We're going to talk more about regulatory clarity here in Hong Kong shortly. But regulatory clarity is coming online globally. It's coming online everywhere. Circle became the first global stablecoin issuer, the only global stablecoin issuer to be fully regulated and licensed for the European Union under MiCA. USDC is the only digital dollar that is legally permitted to be used by financial institutions and firms in the European Union, and that's going effective by the end of this year. The United States has a payment stablecoin bill that's on the verge of coming into law. In Japan, here in Hong Kong, UAE, Singapore, and more markets, stablecoin rules and digital asset rules are coming online. This regulatory clarity is going to be a massive deal because it's going to take us from the early adopter phase of this market to the mass market, to the mainstream phase of this market, where mainstream utility is happening and breaking out at an accelerating pace. And we see that today. Real-world use cases driving utility with stablecoins is happening. It's like every day there's a new announcement. Every day there's a new company. A large publicly traded company in the, called Shift4, that's a major merchant acquirer, just launched USDC payment acceptance for their merchants and point-of-sale devices. I didn't even know about it. They just launched it. Stripe, getting deeply into taking USDC as payments, acquiring a company that fundamentally builds USDC settlement bridges for cross-border transactions. All around the world in consumer payments, tokenization, capital markets, investing, store of value for digital dollars, cross-border settlements. All of these are real and they're expanding, and I know many of you here are involved in some of these today. And we're just at the beginning of this. We're just at the beginning of this phenomenon, that crossing that chasm of going from a early adopter tech that is lightly or unregulated to a technology that corporations and households and financial institutions are comfortable interacting with is going to mean a very rapid ascendance in these kinds of use cases. Speaking of use cases, I want to touch on the way in which crypto as an infrastructure that is rewiring the global economic system is converging with artificial intelligence, which is rewiring the very nature of how we engage with the world and the very nature of how we interact with the internet and services on the internet. A couple of highlights here, and then I want to talk about how this is translated. When you use the internet today, for the most part, huge amounts of it are behind paywalls, so people providing paywalls for content, which is 80% of the content of the internet. We're moving to a world where the primary user interface that you have to interact with the internet will be AIs. The primary way you conduct tasks will be through AI agents. The aggregation of information will be presented to you through these AI interfaces. So what happens to the business model of the internet? What happens to the business model of accessing applications and services and data in an age of AI? What can we do to combine an infrastructure that is designed for trust minimized, safe, instant transactions that can be mediated programmatically with AI? We can move to a world where the people who provide content can easily be paid for content, even in microcents on blockchain networks using USDC. We can move to a world where we interact with an AI to conduct a transaction for us or undertake a task, and that AI can navigate services on the internet as an agent through a range of a chain of tasks and conduct that work for us, compensating those that provide it with those services with stablecoin, and ultimately conducting the transactions behind those with stablecoin. This convergence of AI agents with on-chain stablecoins is inevitable, and it's happening, and we're seeing more and more of it emerging. In this world, the AI platforms interact with other services, applications, data, content on the internet. And those services can decide how they want to be paid, for what time, under what policies, and can exchange all of that in a programmatic, automated way, safely mediating that through blockchain transactions. And the number of transactions that these exploding the exploding number of agents are going to produce will far exceed the number of transactions that we as humans interact with. We need a medium of exchange for a world where AI is increasingly performing work and interacting on our behalf for everything that we might do. So we're very focused on this. And in fact, today, you can use programmable wallets, multi-chain blockchain infrastructure, USDC, to bring these kinds of applications online. So the building blocks that you need to deliver this experience are already available. You're going to be seeing more from us with SDKs and other things to support this growth in these kinds of applications as well. I want to kind of step back from drilling into one thing and talking about USDC generally, and just reflect on the future that we're building together. And that future is what I call the internet financial system. We're building from the ground up an entirely internet native financial system, where from the base layer of money itself, expressed as stablecoin money, through every single market structure and primitive, we're building up the infrastructure for the economy in the age of the internet. And that is what this industry represents. So we're in the early days of this. I use different numbers to talk about kind of how early we are. The total size of the market for legal electronic money, the amount of legal electronic money in the world today, is almost $130 trillion of electronic money. Stablecoins are a tiny fraction of that today. In 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, stablecoin money, which I believe will be the best, safest money in the world, will increasingly take share in that market. But it's not just the electronic money itself, it's what you do with it. We're moving into a world where the marginal cost of storing and moving value is going to zero, and where programmable money and the programmatic interaction with that money is unlocking massive new utility in how that money can work. So with that $130 trillion of electronic money in the world today, there's also a whole bunch of utilities that move that money. Cross-border payments, retail payments, international remittances, capital markets through exchanges and all the various systems that move that money in these capital markets. In the aggregate, those utilities generate $1.5 trillion of revenue for just moving the money around. That is our market opportunity as well. And I mean all of our market opportunity. So as this internet financial system builds, we're going to move from stablecoins as a digital asset in the digital asset trading world into stablecoins as a central way that payments happen on the internet. On-chain payments will accelerate and become the most efficient and widely adopted payments infrastructure in the world. More stablecoins will come on-chain. We're tracking over 100 different local stablecoin projects, from Indonesia to Hong Kong to Mexico to the UK to the UAE to you name it. Local stablecoins that are coming online as regulated, compliant digital fiat is accelerating. On-chain FX with the most liquid, available, real-time capability is going to come on-chain. It already is in small ways. It's going to grow over the coming 24, 36 months to be an enormous space. With on-chain payments and on-chain FX, we'll see dramatic growth in corporations who are using stablecoins, tokenized money market funds, and the like to manage their entire treasury of their corporations on-chain. A more efficient, more transparent, more auditable, more programmable infrastructure for the treasury of even the largest corporations who will move to use this infrastructure. As payments and as the treasuries of corporations move on-chain, I believe we'll see an explosion of on-chain credit, where credit, borrowing and lending over time, will happen in stablecoin native ways. It will be intermediated by on-chain protocols that intermediate credit, where risk takers that provide that credit stand in those protocols and make it a highly efficient, highly global, highly efficient marketplace for credit. We talked about on-chain AI agents. I don't think people realize how radically the internet is going to change and is changing. I don't think people realize how fast the agent explosion is going to be over the next 2 years. our entire perception of the world and functioning of different dimensions of society and the economy is going to change at an incredibly accelerating pace. AI agents are going to be huge participants in the internet financial system, and we need to get ready for that. All of this will lead to more and more of commerce itself, and by that I don't just mean I'm buying a product on Alibaba or Amazon. I'm talking about the guts of commerce, the relationships between enterprises, the contracts that govern commercial relationships, all of that moving on chain. And in the end, over time, what we have today in what we largely think of as a sort of quasi-experimental form, things like DAOs and organizations where the participants and the stakeholders in those organizations are able to participate in governance and manage a treasury of a project on chain. That may seem novel today, but in the future, on-chain corporations will be the norm because they'll be the most transparent, the most auditable, the best and novel forms of governance, models of governance that haven't even been invented yet. My own belief is that the blockchain world does for organizational forms and the economic incentives and the way in which the markets around those function will be more transformative than the invention of the joint stock corporation and modern banking and capital markets. This is a turbocharging for the fully digital age. So this is what we think about at Circle. We think about an internet financial system that touches every dimension of the society and the economy and the like. And it's about moving that on chain and moving in that into the future. So I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you're building with us, participating in different ways. It's super early days. It's super early. And that's awesome and exciting. So looking forward to sharing more with you today. Thank you.